So as many of us recover from the holidays, the bills are just starting to hit. And for a lot of us, that means trying to dig out of a mountain of debt. New numbers from the American Institute of CPAs found almost half of holiday spenders expect to be borrowing to cover the costs tied to gifts and things like travel. More than half of those surveyed won't pay off their credit card balance in full when the bill arrives. And nearly 4 in 10 feel regret over holiday overspending and carry that emotional toll with them. All right, so let's get some tips on paying that debt down that you may have gotten yourself into over the holiday with local financial professional Abby Reed, co-CEO of Reed Financial Group. Welcome to you, Abby. Let's jump right into it. What is the biggest myth about holiday debt that holds people back?
I think that it can start to feel really overwhelming. And a lot of times we hear people say, they don't think they're going to be able to get out from under it. And so it can be really discouraging. And that doesn't have to be the case. There are certainly ways to plan, whether you kind of knew what debt you were taking on and did it knowingly, or whether it just piled up without, you really understanding what was going on. There are definitely methods that can help you get out from under that. So I would encourage people to just kind of try and flip that mindset that can be really discouraging and prevent people from starting to tackle any type of debt.
So what's the number one thing you tell someone who's right now, they're staring long and hard at that credit card bill? What should they do first?
First, you really need to be honest with yourself. If you're married, then you and your spouse can sit down, or if you're not, have a money date with yourself and take a look at all of your debt. So whether you're a pen and paper person, you can write it all down, or whether you're more, a digital person, you can create an Excel spreadsheet or a Google sheet and take actual inventory of all of your debt. So that's going to be your mortgage, your car payments, your credit card payments, personal loans, those type things. So what I recommend is to write the company, the amount, and the interest rate. So the average interest rate, or APR, is about 24% on credit cards. And this is going to help you to be able to see everything clearly, because it can really add up, especially if you have multiple credit cards. If you signed up for a credit card to take advantage of, a particular offer or to get bonus miles, it can get out of control. And so having an inventory is the first step. And then you can pick a method. There's several that you can pick, and it really needs to be what works for you and your family. So there's the avalanche method, and then there's the snowball method as well. And they're going to work differently for different people. But the first step is always taking that inventory.
Talking about inventory, how important is it for people to prioritize high interest debt first? And what's kind of the strategy there?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's the avalanche method. So I just mentioned the avalanche method and the snowball method. So the avalanche method is when you start with prioritizing the highest interest rate debt. So that's going to be credit cards and personal loans. Those typically have double-digit interest rates. And that is what we call it, at Reed Financial Group, a wealth killer. That really sucks your ability to build wealth, to add to your retirement accounts, to make sure you have a good emergency fund. And it's really hard to get out from under that, especially if you're only paying the minimum payment or just paying the interest. It can take years to get out from under that. So with the avalanche method, you start to attack the highest interest rate debt first. That's going to be, as far as the financial impact, that's going to save you the most money and help you pay the least amount of interest. Now, it might take a little bit longer because that might not be the smallest debt that you have. And so it can be a little bit discouraging. So the other method, the snowball method, works better for people that need to see a win in order to stick with something. So if that's you, which a lot of us are, then pick the snowball method. That's going to be starting to attack the lowest debt first, the lowest dollar amount first. getting that off of your balance sheet and then going from there. So there's two different methods, and the avalanche method is financially makes the most sense, but sometimes the snowball method is the one that people are going to stick with more. Either one is fine. You have to pick the one that's right for you. But the high interest rate debt it gets in the way of building debt and getting to retirement, which is what we help people with. And so that's the main problem with it.
All right, Abby, thank you so much for these great tips. We appreciate you being with us today. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back after this.